image in your head is one that includes honky tonks and the Country Music Hall of Fame. However, this perfectly describes the scenery right outside of the Nashville Predators' home ice. Now, during the time that you'll be living here in Nashville, you'll probably make your way down to Bridgestone Arena to attend a Preds game. But in order to maximize your experience, I believe that there are a few things that you should know. So today I'm going to be informing you about Nashville Predators hockey and what makes it so unique. I've been watching the Preds all my life, and I've also been raised around a couple of Canadians who know their hockey pretty well. So I've gained a lot of knowledge on the topic, and I've also seen this team in particular through a lot of their ups and downs. So to get you prepared for what to expect at a game, I'm going to be talking to you today about the basic fundamentals of the game, as well as some aspects of the fan experience. So first and foremost, you should be familiar with the main positions and basic rules, and these are just going to be really helpful for understanding how the game itself flows. So there are going to be three main positions: offense, defense, and goaltending, and they're going to be played in the three zones of the ice. So first you're going to have the defensive zone, where your goaltender is, the offensive zone, where the opponent's goaltender is, and the neutral zone. These are all going to be separated by the two blue lines. So during an even strength shift, each team is going to have 5 skaters and 1 goaltender out on the ice. The goalie is going to be responsible for stopping pucks, and they're basically going to be the last line of defense. They're also going to be the only player who's actually out on the ice for the full 60 minutes. Now, of your 5 skaters, 3 of them are going to be on offense. You're typically going to have 1 center and 2 wingers. Center tends to be the playmaker, whereas the wingers tend to be the ones who shoot the puck. And then your final 2 skaters are going to be defensemen, and these guys are really strong at puck management, and they also tend to work as a pair. So if one goes down to drive an offensive play, the other will stay back to protect the defensive zone. Now the Preds roster fills each of these positions with varying levels of skill at each. So in a typical games lineup, you're going to have 3 defensive pairings and 4 offensive lines. And from top to bottom, it's going to reflect how much time is spent out on the ice by each line or pairing. So those towards the top are going to spend more time on the ice, and those towards the bottom are going to spend less. So Predators captain Roman Josi is one of the most essential parts of the Preds team. In 2022, Paul Scrivania published an article in the Tennessean where he basically argued that Roman will go down as one of, if not the best player in the franchise's history. And he also asserted that Roman's stellar defensive play is also matched in his offensive talent, since he's always contributing to goals that are scored. Now, offense is a little bit more variable from night to night, but I'm showing you a very typical Preds lineup. The top 2 lines tend to be a little bit more stacked with skill, whereas the bottom 2 tend to be a little bit more physical and chip in on the more greasy goals where they're really jamming away at the net. And then finally, goaltending is led by Preds' #1 starting goaltender, UC Saros, who's been an all-star for the past 2 seasons. So now just for some basic knowledge on how the game flows. So every period and resumption of play after a whistle is began again with a face-off and one of the 5 face-off circles shown here. And this is just so that one team can actually get possession of the puck. Now, some other rules to be aware of. A player cannot use his stick to hook, trip, or slash another player, and he also can't play a hit on a guy who doesn't have the puck. If he does any of these things, it usually results in a 2-minute minor penalty where the penalized team is down man for those 2 minutes. So it's 5-on-4 play instead of 5-on-5. Now, another rule to be aware of is the offside rule. And the offside rule basically states that the puck has to cross the line into the offensive zone before the offensive player does. And this can sometimes be hard to see in real time, hence the need for a video review. So now that you're aware of the various parts of the game at ice level, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the fan experience. So Bridgestone Arena has created a super unique environment across the NHL to really grow their fan base. In 2019, Brandon Mastromartino and his colleagues published a study in the Journal of Emerging Sports Studies where he basically tried to examine the formation of different fan bases across the NHL. So in there, he actually identified Nashville as a non-traditional hockey market. So in addition to being an ice hockey team in the South, the Preds also really had to compete with the Titans, especially in their early days, for fans and interest. So to compensate, the organization made it a really huge priority to make the team one that is the communities, and that is explained by Jonathan Generati in his 2016 project on how the Predators built their brand. So as a result of this, a multitude of different traditions have emerged at Bridgestone, one of them being the goal song, which is a rendition on Tim McGraw's I Like It, I Love It, and it's followed up by the crowd telling the goalie that he sucks and that the goal is all his fault. Now, from time to time, you may also catch a large catfish being thrown out onto the ice, and the origins of this tradition are actually explained in John Garcia's 2018 article in the Tennessean, where he basically discusses how the tradition was started in the Preds' inaugural season in response to the octopus throwing tradition of rival team, the Detroit Red Wings. Now, the playoffs also tend to bring the tradition to a whole other level. More recently, the organization has started to bring in some well-known country music singers to sing the national anthem before the start of the game. To name a few, they've had Carrie Underwood, Vince Gill, Keith Urban, Alchemist, and just really hype up the crowd before the start of the game. And then my personal favorite tradition of the Smash car. Basically, the organization gets a really old beat-up car and has it really artfully designed with the logo of the team that they're playing in the series against. And fans can basically pay to take a swing at the car with one of those large sledgehammers. And by the end of the series, win or lose, the car always ends up smashed to smithereens, so it's really a sight to see. And John Garcia explains in his 2018 article that the proceeds from this tradition actually go towards the Preds Foundation, which benefits teams within in the Middle Tennessee community, which again just further connects the club to their fans. So now that you're in various fan traditions, you should be prepared with everything you need to attend a Preds game. So in conclusion, I hope you all now feel equipped with all that you need to attend a game and be a part of Smashville. Right now would be a great time to start going to a game. They're really making a push to go into one of the final wild card spots, so it would be a really great time. Every game is really important. As a hockey fan, you should definitely keep in mind the 3 main positions, basic rules, and names that we talked about. And as a Preds fan in particular, you should definitely take part in the unique atmosphere of having a professional hockey team in the Music City, because there's truly nothing else like it. So the next time you walk down Broadway, I hope you get the meaning behind the sign that reads "Welcome to Smashville" and you feel like a part of the fan base. Thank you.